Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review on the 2021 retro of the Air Jordan 6 Carmine. To start things off, I am just super happy that I was able to grab a pair of these. So I'd just like to give a big thanks to Titan because I won these from their raffle. The Jordan 6 Carmine is definitely such a classic shoe because it was laced up by Michael Jordan in the 1990 to 1991 NBA season. This was the season that MJ and the Bulls were able to sweep the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they beat Magic Johnson and the Lakers in 5 games in the finals, giving MJ his first ever NBA championship and NBA Finals MVP. This was definitely one of the defining moments of Michael Jordan's career, which is why we also have the Jordan 6 DMP, which I've also reviewed on the channel, so if you haven't checked out that video yet, I'll leave a link to that somewhere up there or in the description box down below. Then aside from winning the NBA championship, he was also the NBA's most valuable player, was All-NBA and All-Defensive First Team, started in the All-Star game, and led the league in scoring. The Carmine Jordan 6 is also just a very iconic shoe because MJ wore them a lot during the 1991 season, and this might be an unpopular opinion because I know how a lot of people really love the infrared Jordan 6s, but for me personally, this is the best colorway of the Jordan 6. It might just be that I'm biased to shoes that have a white base because as you all know, the infrareds had a mostly black upper with small hits of infrared, but with the Carmines you have just this really nice mix of white and red with a little bit of black sprinkled in there, which is personally something that stands out much more than any other Jordan 6 colorway. The 2021 retro is also the first time that we have Nike Air on the back, and it's kind of amazing that it took them 30 years to get the Nike Air back on the Jordan 6. Then running through the tech specs on the Jordan 6, here on the outsole you have one of the more interesting looking traction patterns because it is pretty flat all throughout and you just have these circular craters on the outsole. It also has a mix of solid and translucent rubber, and although they do have the same traction pattern, the white solid rubber actually has a little bit of texture to it while the translucent is pretty smooth. It does grip surprisingly well though, given that it is so flat and it does look so weird. And I'm not sure how the traction on the Jordan 6 as well as the tractions on most of the early Jordans work, but most of them, including the Jordan 6, work very well. Since the Jordan 6 is a 90s shoe, you can definitely bet that the rubber is nice and thick and it will last you a very long time whether you're using this for casual wear or if you were to play in these both indoors and outdoors. Then for the cushion, it is pretty basic because you just have a full-length polyurethane midsole with an encapsulated air unit here in the forefoot and a visible air unit here in the heel. It definitely is far from the most comfortable thing in the world, but at the time that the Jordan 6 came out, this was pretty much high-tech cushion. It will definitely get a little bit more comfortable once you break them in, but when they're pretty brand new like this, they can feel like bricks. The cushion is definitely the part of the shoe that would deter people from trying these out on court and mostly just using them for casual use. Although one suggestion I have if you want to try and play in a pair of Jordan 6s or like a pair of Jordan 3s or Jordan 1s, you can take out the insole and put in a third-party insole that has, like dual density foams or like foam crash pads to make these more playable. Then for the materials, these Carmine red panels are nubuck or what they used to call durabuck, and it's actually adequately soft. Then for the white portions of the shoe, you have this smooth grain leather, and though it doesn't feel as premium as say the leather on a pair of Jordan 1 highs, over time this leather will also break in and begin to feel a lot softer. The nubuck and leather on the Jordan 6s have never been the most premium because that's really how they were always made. The Jordans with the most premium materials would have to be the Jordan 1 to the Jordan 5 because for the 6 and 7, that nubuck or durabuck as they call it never really felt that premium, and they also would always use stiffer leathers. Then rounding out the rest of the materials, you have that nice and soft Huarache style tongue, and then here at the top of the tongue you have that signature Jordan 6 tongue tab that's made of leather. You have that plastic lace lock as well as that rubber spoiler here at the back, and lastly you have the super soft and kinda fuzzy textile sock liner. The materials on the Jordan 6 aren't the most premium, but they will get a lot softer over time, and for the sock liner and Huarache style tongue, they are super soft and really comfy as well. Then for fit and sizing, I did go down half a size with my Jordan 6 Carmines, and it fits me perfectly well. I went through to size with the last Jordan 6 I bought, which were the DMPs, and it just felt like it had a little bit of extra volume here at the toe, as well as in other portions of the shoe as well. A lot of people I know do go through to size with the Jordan 6. However, I feel that since the Jordan 6 isn't as padded as the Jordan 7, you do have a little bit more roominess in the shoe. So my recommendation for the sizing is that if you have a narrow foot, you can go down half a size. And then if you have a wide foot, you can go through to size. Then if you have a normal width foot, you can kind of pick and choose between going down half a size or going through to size. It wasn't too snug for me when I went down half a size, and it actually just fit perfectly well. Then for the aesthetic details on the shoe, here on the outsole, you have that signature Jordan 6 traction pattern. And with the Carmines, you have a mix of white solid rubber and this icy blue translucent rubber. Then here on the middle of the outsole, you have that large Jumpman in that Carmine red. Then moving on to the midsole, you have that translucent rubber peeking up at the heel and the forefoot. You have that visible air unit here at the heel, and the pillars are white. And for the polyurethane midsole, you have a really nice mix of black and white. Then moving on to the upper, you do have that Carmine red nubuck here on the toe as well as those midfoot panels. Then for the white leather, it is on the piping of the midfoot as well as the entire heel and ankle portion of the shoe. You also have white on the laces as well as the textile part of the tongue. Then you also have some black portions here on the tongue tab, the sock liner, and the Porsche inspired spoiler here at the back. You also have a little bit more Carmine red here on this little shroud on the tongue, and on that piece you have a black Jumpman. Then for the other bits of branding on the shoe, here on the lace lock you have Nike written on one side and the Jumpman on the other side. You also have that Air Jordan branding on the top of the tongue tab, and of course the main star of the show is the Nike Air at the back. There's really just something about an OG colorway with the OG Nike Air branding that really just hits you in the feels, especially if you are an OG enthusiast and someone who's really into the history of sneakers. Oh, and I almost forgot, you also have that Nike Air on the insole. Then for the overall aesthetics, what else can you say? It's just such a classic colorway of a classic silhouette, and I just really love the color balance on the shoe with that Carmine red as well as this white. And of course you have that black and that icy blue just to tie everything together. It also is really nice that even though this is a 90s shoe, and given the fact that some 90s shoes were just really bulky, the Jordan 6 actually looks pretty streamlined. You have that nice slope to it as well as those Porsche inspired details such as the spoiler and the tongue tab as well as all of the perforation holes on the shoe. It just really is such a nice looking shoe and was definitely way ahead of its time, because this was definitely pretty loud in 1991 given the fact that most people had all white shoes or all black shoes on the court, while MJ was rocking some fire like these. It's just definitely so clean, the colors are spot on, and it's just an all-time classic. Then for the price, the Jordan 6 Carmine retailed for 9,445 pesos here in the Philippines, or $200 US. It didn't really sell out in a couple of minutes like those really limited releases, but of course they did eventually sell out because a lot of resellers bought a lot of pairs. And to everyone who's watching this and wants to grab a pair for themselves, I really hope you're able to have the patience to wait it out a little bit or to find the best deals out there, which will allow you to get these for the retail price. The resale price on these is just around 500 pesos or $10 more than the retail price. So I guess if you wait it out a little longer, you might be able to get these for retail. So again, much props to Jordan brand, because I really do hope that they make more pairs of their upcoming releases, because this resale problem has really become a problem because they are getting all of the pairs, and the people who really want the shoe but can't afford the resale price can't really get them, and I think that's just very unfair. I also do want to thank Titan for the raffle and for having them on their site as well, because they did have a lot of pairs available. So I think a lot of true sneakerheads who wanted this shoe so that they could collect it or rock it were able to get them. So there you have it guys, that was my detailed review on the Air Jordan 6 Carmine. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. And please do make sure to join the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group, because that's where I'll be coursing my monthly giveaway. I will be leaving the link to the Facebook group down below, so if you're not part of the group yet, I do highly encourage you to join. Then once again, if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.